So without further ado, let's start the session for today. Hello everybody and a very good evening to everybody. Once again, it's me Satyanarayan, Satya, live from my studio at IQ Ideas, bringing you a session on math, past year paper solutions. And the paper that I'm going to crack today is the JIPMAT. The JIPMAT is the entrance examination conducted by the NTA, the National Testing Agency. And this is the entrance examination whose scores are considered by two IIMs Jammu and Bodh Gaya, for admission to their 5-year integrated program in management. As you know, the 5-year integrated program in management has gained a lot of popularity in the last few years, with a lot of IIMs offering them. Last I checked, there were about 7 IIMs who were offering a program, and I'll talk about it in a moment. The IPMAT conducted by IIM Indore is the most basic exams of all, because not only IIM Indore but a host of other institutions, in fact I think a total of 9 institutions including IIM Indore, consider the score of the IPMAT for admission to their programs. And the other IIMs which consider the score of the IPMAT conducted by IIM Indore, other than IIM Indore itself, include IIMs Ranchi and the new programs at IIM Amritsar and IIM Shillong. In fact, IIM Sirmaur has also a bachelor's program. It's a bachelor's in management studies, a BMS program. But for admission into the BMS program as well, they consider the scores of the IPMAT conducted by IIM Indore. And if you maintain an 8.0 CGPA at the time of graduation, then you are eligible for selection in the MBA program by IIM Sirmaur as well. And then of course you have IIM Rohtak, which conducts its own separate entrance examination, also called the IPMAT, but it's not the same IPMAT as the one conducted by Indore. It's a separate entrance examination. And then you have the JIPMAT, which is conducted by the National Testing Agency, and the score of which is considered by IIMs Jammu and Bodh Gaya for admissions. Among the private institutions, among the other institutions which consider the score of IPMAT conducted by IIM Indore for admissions are the Institute of Management at Nirma University in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Then I think IIFT, the Kakinada campus, considers the score. Nalsar in Hyderabad has a management program, and they consider the score of the IPMAT Indore as well. So there are a plethora of institutions offering the 5-year integrated program in management, which is a wonderful opportunity for business management aspirants who wish to get a foot into the IIMs immediately after the standard 12th, right? Originally, most of the IIMs, the older ones, offered their flagship programs as postgraduate programs. So you had to face the CAT, the Common Admission Test, conducted by the IIMs for admission into the PG programs. And about 3.5 lakh aspirants at last count used to appear for this exam, and the number of seats were very limited. So the competition was extremely tough, and the CAT definitely was a tough exam. I mean, it still is. But the IPMAT gives you a wonderful opportunity to get both your undergraduate and postgraduate education done at an IIM right after standard 12th. So I have already done a couple of videos where I have discussed the questions from the IPMAT of IIM Indore. I have discussed the sitter questions, I think 11 sitter questions, which were there in the IPMAT IIM Indore exam of 2024. Today I'm going to take a look at the questions from the Quant, the mathematics section of the JIPMAT conducted in 2024. And I think there are a total of 33 questions, and I'm going to run through a majority of these questions because I don't want to bore you for too long. So obviously the sitter ones, I'm just going to show you the method to follow and then leave it at that. But some of the involved questions, I will definitely try to solve it till the end. At any point of time, if you have any question, please do post it in the comments section. I'll keep an eye on the comments. But because there's a delay between the actual thing which I'm speaking and at the time at which it is relayed, so it will take me some time to respond to that question, and obviously I'll need to check out what you have written. but do feel free to post your comments so that I can answer them. And even if you are watching this video after the live broadcast is over, you can definitely leave your comments in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to respond to them. So without further ado, without more of bakarbaji, let's get into it. JIPMAT 2024 conducted by the National Testing Agency for admissions into IIMs Jammu and Bodh Gaya. And here is the first question on the screen. Now, the first question is that a company offers 4 types of successive discounts and you are given options A, B, C and D. This is over the marked price of the article. And what you have to do is you have to arrange these discounts A to D in ascending order, right? Smallest to lowest on the final selling price of the article after the discount. So what you have to do is you have to calculate what is the discount which is being offered. Then you have to calculate what does the sale price amount to. And you have to arrange the final sale price after the discounts have been applied in ascending order, smallest to largest. Now this is an absolutely easy question. It does not require too much of complicated thinking. All it requires is you to know the fundamental formula of successive percentage changes. So let's jump into that. So let us assume that the 2 percentages given are A and B, right? And because they are discounts, we will generally take them as negative quantities. Then the formula for successive percentage changes is nothing but A plus B plus AB upon 100, right? And in this case, because A and B are negative, it will be minus A minus B plus AB by 100, because a negative into a negative gives me a positive. So if the discounts, the first option is 25% and 50%. So for option A, it is minus 25 plus minus 15 plus minus 25 into minus 15, the whole divided by 100, right? So minus 25 plus minus 15 makes it minus 40. 25 into 15 is 250 plus 125, 375 by 100 is plus 3.75. So minus 40 plus 3.75 gives you minus 36.25, correct? So the first value is minus 36.25. Using the same formula, you have to calculate the values of the remaining 3 discounts. So yes, it is a calculation intensive problem. But once you have calculated these discounts, from 100, once you subtract the value, you will get the sale price. And once you get the sale price, you have to arrange them in ascending order. So I'm not going to bore you with the total calculations, but you can pause this video if you're watching it after the live broadcast is over and try to work it out. And in case you want the answer in this case is the order in which is option 2. So in ascending order, it goes with C, B, A and D. In ascending order of the sale prices, the answer that you should be getting is C, B, A, D, right? I hope everybody understood that this is a very, very simple question, not very difficult to solve. So you should be able to get this in, let us say, about a minute or so, provided you are decent enough with your calculations. The only thing you need to remember is the formula for successive percentage change, A plus B plus AB by 100. And because it is a discount, you have to take the values of A and B as the negative values. That's it. So the first question, definitely an easy one. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, now this is definitely an interesting question. It simply asks you to arrange the fractions in descending order, where my values are 5 by 9, 7 by 11, 8 by 15 and 11 by 17. Now, one way of solving it is if I can normalize all the values, that is, if I can take the LCM of all the denominators and then adjust the value of each of the fractions, then because the denominators are same, I can easily compare the value of the numerators. But that would mean calculating the fractional, calculating the LCM of the denominators and multiplying it and so on and so forth. But that's not the approach which I used to solve this problem, right? I used a slightly different approach. What I did was I have memorized the values of reciprocal percentages. And what do I mean by reciprocal percentages? Well, 1 upon 1 is 100%, 1 upon 2 is 50%, 1 upon 3 is 33.3%, and so on. And because I know the values of these reciprocal percentages, I will use that information to the best of my abilities, right? And I have memorized the reciprocal values till about 20. So I know the reciprocal value of 1 upon 9 is 11.11%, 1 upon 11 is 9.09%, 1 upon 15 is 6.6 recurring percent, and 1 upon 17 is 5.8%, approximately 5.88, and so on and so forth. So once I know 1 upon the value, all I need to do is multiply the numerator. So if 1 by 9 is 11.11, then 5 by 9 should be approximately equal to 5.55%, and 7 by 11, so 7 into 9.09 should be roughly 63.63%. Then 8 by 15, so 8 into 6.6 something will give me the value, and again 11 into 5.8 will give me the value. I am not going to calculate it, I'm going to leave it up to you to calculate. But that's the way you can easily solve this question, right? So the order in which they have to be in ascending order technically should be D, B, A, C. I believe none of the options here are correct, so I'm not sure whether the answer options which were given were actually this or there was some error in the paper. But this method should definitely give you the right answer to the particular question. I hope you understood how I used my memorization of reciprocal percentage values to the best in this particular problem, right? Okay, let's move ahead with the next one. Like I said, I'm not going to solve it till the end. I'm just going to show you the quick method of solving these problems. Okay, now an interesting question. It says, if the 7-digit number 94A29B6 is divisible by 72, then what is the value of 2A plus 3B? And it is given B is not equal to 3. Fantastic question. It simply tests your knowledge of divisibility rules, right? The number is 9, 4, A, 2, 9, B, and 6. So the first thing I need to identify is how do I calculate the values of A and B, right? Now it is given that the number is divisible by 72. So let's identify how to check whether this number is divisible by 72 or not. So factorizing 72, 2 3s are 6, 2 6s are 12, 2 18s are 36, 2 9s are 18, 3 3s are 9, and 3 1s are 3. So technically 8 into 9, 72. I need to apply the divisibility rules of both 8 and 9. And using that, I will be able to identify whether the number is divisible by 72 or not. And once I know what should be the rule, how the rule is applicable, I will be able to guess the values of A and B. So, for the number to be divisible by 8, the rule is that the last 3 digits should form a number which is a multiple of 8. So, let's start assuming values. B could be anything from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's also given B is not equal to 3. Great. So then what can be the potential value of B? If I assume B is equal to 1, then 916. So is 916 divisible by 8? 916 in this case is not divisible by 8. So B is definitely not 1. What about 2? 926? No. 3 is already not the value. So I check with 4, 5, 6 and I end up at 7. Is 976 divisible by 8? Let's check. 8 1s are, 8 1s are, 8 2s are 16, 8 2s are 16, perfectly divisible. So now I have discovered that the value of B is supposed to be 7. Okay. Now that the value of B can be 7, the number is 9, 4, A, 2, 9, 7 and 6. The only thing left is this, I mean, it should be perfectly divisible by 9. And what is the divisibility rule of 9? the sum of all the digits should be divisible by 9. So 9 plus 4, 13, 13 plus 2, 15, 15 plus 9, 24, 24 plus 7, 31, 31 plus 6, 37. So 37 plus a should give me a number which is divisible by 9, and the multiple of 9 after 37 happens to be 45, which means the value of a is nothing but 45 minus 37, which tells me that the value of a is equal to 8. So once I get the value of b is 7 and a is 8, calculating 2a plus 3b is nothing. So 2 times 8 plus 3 times 7 is 16 plus 21, which is equal to 37. So option B, 37, is definitely the answer that I'm looking for. So this is a great problem. It simply tests your knowledge of how well you can apply the divisibility rules. So two things that we need to know. One, the divisibility rule of 8 is that the last 3 digits of the number must form a number which is divisible by 8. Divisibility rule of 9, the sum of all the digits should be divisible by 9. Chalo. If you have understood that, excellent. We know the answer in this case is 37. Let's move on to the next question. Now the next question looks complicated prima facie. Believe me, it's not. It has given you two lists where list 1 is the expression under root of something something. List 2 is the absolute value of the number. All I have to do is match the two groups, match A with B. Okay, so do I need to perform all 4 calculations? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. So let's simplify it one by one. The first expression is given as root of 15 multiplied by 163 divided by 5 minus 89. Okay, looks complicated? Actually not. So I find out the square root, but I follow the rules of Bodh. So brackets open, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. So I can write this as 15 multiplied by 163 divided by 5. I'll simplify this portion and then subtract 89 from it. So this is 5 ones are, 5 threes are. So the expression becomes 3 threes are 9, 3 six are 18, 3 ones are 3, 4. So 489 minus 89 root of 400 plus or minus 20, but I don't have a negative value, so 20. So I definitely know that the value of the first expression should be 20. So 1 is matched with A is matched with 2. So automatically I know options A and D are out of the question because both second and third option A and 2 is matched. So now my work is easy, right? C is 1 for sure. I just need to evaluate either B or D, and evaluating either one of them will help me decide whether the second or the third option should be my answer in this case. So let's evaluate the second expression and see what it works out to be. So the second expression is root of 15 square plus 11 into 3 square. Again Bodh. So 15 square is 225, 3 square is 9, 9 into 11, 99. So this gives me 324, root of which is 18, and that is option 4. So B and 4 is the match. So I actually don't need to solve the entire expression. Once I got A, I eliminated 2 options. Once I got B, I was simply able to narrow down on the answer. So don't worry that you are given so many expressions. You absolutely don't need to perform all the calculations. Options are your best friend. But as a matter of interest or as a matter of practice, I would very strongly recommend that you do evaluate the values of C and D. And now that you know what is the value of C and D, you should be able to cross-check your answer simply. Right? Chalo. Brilliant question. Looks difficult, but actually a very easy one, provided you follow the rules of Bodh. Alright. Now, an amount doubles itself at compound interest in 5 years. How many years will it take to make the amount 16 times? Many students are afraid of compound interest because they feel the formula is a bit tricky to remember. But believe me, that formula is of absolutely no use. I won't say no use, but it's not required to crack this question, right? It's a very, very simple question. Let's see what compound interest is. So let us say the amount x doubles itself in 5 years. So x becomes 2x in 5 years. 2x again doubles itself in another 5 years. So 4x in another 5 years. So that means total of 10 years now. 4x doubles itself 8x in another 5 years. That means 15 years now. And 8x again doubles itself in 5 years. So that means 20 years. And my question is, how much time does it take to make it 16 times? The answer definitely should be option D. It makes itself 16 times in 20 years. That's it. You do not need to work it out using the formula A is equal to P into 1 plus R upon 100 the whole raised to N. Not even going to write it down. Remember, the amount of compound interest is a multiplication thing, right? So twice, twice, twice. It keeps on doubling every 5 years. So that's the simple principle that you can use to crack this question. Less than 20 seconds and you're done. In fact, I had to write it down. You could orally do it and mark the correct answer for this particular question. So sitter, moving ahead to the next one. This is definitely a very, very interesting question. It says a candidate scored X percentage marks in an exam and fails by A marks, while another candidate who scores Y percent gets B more than the minimum pass. Then what is the maximum marks for the examination? So let's assume that the maximum marks of the examinations or total is T, right? Now, if he scored X percent of T marks, he fails by A marks. That means he needed A marks more to reach the pass cutoff. Similarly, if the other candidate scored Y by 100 of the total T marks, he got B marks more than the minimum. So if I remove those B marks, then he goes back to the pass percentage. So technically speaking, both these values are the same. A marks more than X percent is the same as B marks less than the Y percent. And what do I need to find out? Maximum, that is I need to find the value of T. So let's simplify this expression. So I can take the B on this side. A plus B is equal to, I already have Y by 100 of T, shifting the X to the other side, minus X by 100 of T. So A plus B is equal to, if I take the T by 100 common, this becomes Y minus X. So I just need the value of T. So T is equal to A plus B multiplied by 100 upon Y minus X. Is there any option which is A plus B into 100 upon Y minus X? Yep. Option C, 100 into A plus B upon Y minus X. So this was a very interesting question, but if you know how to form this particular linear equation, you don't worry about the complication of the problem. You just understand that the linear equation can be formed because somebody is scoring something more than the pass mark. You reduce that to get the pass mark. Somebody scores something less than the pass mark. You add it to reach the pass mark, and both the quantities are the same. And once you get that, absolutely easy question to solve, right? So definitely doable, although it looks a bit complicated, believe me, it's not. Now, next one, what will be the least remainder, which when divided by 12, 21 and 35 leaves 6 as a remainder in each case? Whoa. I mean, it is such an easy question to solve. I'm simply going to leave you with the method. I'm not going to solve it, right? So if the remainder is 6, the perfectly divisible number by 12, 21 and 35 must be the least common multiple of the numbers, right? So if I find the least common multiple of 12, 21 and 35, I will get a number which is perfectly divisible. I add 6 to that number, then the number leaves a remainder of 6 in each case. So that's it. My answer, if 12, 21 and 35 leave the remainder 6 in each case, then what should the value of that number be? Work it out. You should get the answer as 426. 20, 30 seconds and you are done with this question. Such an easy question. So far we just have phased 7 questions, out of which 1 or 2 may be involving a little bit of thought, but majority of them sitters. Such a great exam. Okay. Oh, geometry. An equilateral triangle ABC is inscribed in a circle of radius something. Centroid of the triangle is at a distance D from the vertex. What is D equal to? If you are afraid of geometry, you are going to scratch your head. But believe me, you don't need to lift a pen for this. But still, I am going to show you what it is. So what is given? It's given that ABC is an equilateral triangle. So what is an equilateral triangle? A triangle where all the 3 sides are of the same length, all the 3 angles are of the same measure. And ABC, a circle of radius 20 root 3 is inscribed, so this triangle is inscribed in a circle of radius 20 root 3. So the triangle is inside the circle. Let's assume this is the center of the circle. The centroid of the, so I get that this is, all these 3 are radii of the circle. Each of these is 20 root 3. The centroid of the triangle is a distance D from the vertex. So from the vertex A, the centroid, and what is the centroid? The point where the 3 medians meet. What are the medians? Point connecting the vertex to the midpoint. Now the interesting thing is that because it is an equilateral triangle, the points where all the perpendicular bisectors meet, or the point where all the angle bisectors meet, or the point where the line connecting the vertex to the opposite midpoint meet, technically the centroid, the orthocenter, the incenter, the circumcenter, all of them are the same point, which will be the center of the circle itself. So if this distance D is the distance from the centroid to the vertex, it is nothing but the radius of the circle itself. So my answer is already given to me. 20 root 3 is the value that I am looking for. Mark it, move ahead. Right? Even if you did not know this, but if you draw it, it should strike that because it's such a symmetrical figure, everything is going to be perfectly in the center, and that has to be the center of the circle, which means the radius of the circle should be the length of each of the lines. That's it. Absolutely easy question. 20 root 3, mark it, move ahead, done. Okay. Complicated looking question, but I had fun with this. Why? It's not even a 10-second question. Let's see. It is given that I have to simplify this expression. 4th root of 0.0625 plus cube root of 0.00008 plus root of 0.09 minus 1 upon cube root of 62.5 into 5th root of 32 and all that. But the numbers are so beautiful. The first value is the 4th root of 0.0625. Now I know the 4th power of 5 is 625. 5 5s are 25, 25 25s are 625. So the 4th root of 0.0625, and because there are 4 decimal points after the 0, will be equal to 0.5. Easy. Cube root of 008. Cube root of 8 is 2, 3 points. So this will be plus 0.2 plus square root of 0.09. Square root of 9 is 3. After decimal point 2, so 0.3. So plus 0.3 minus 1 upon, please don't solve this. Let's just keep it as x. And I'll tell you why. Let's evaluate the numerator. 0.5 plus 0.2, 0.7 plus 0.3 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Ooh, ended up being 0 by x. Does not matter what the value of x is, as long as x is not 0. The entire fraction is going to be 0. So that's it. Mark C. Move ahead. You did not have to calculate the value of the cube root of 62.5 into the fifth root of 32, which is by the way 2. But not required, right? Because, okay, even if I simplify this, fifth root of 32 is 2, 62.5 into 2 is 125, cube root of 125, 5, 0.5. But it did not matter. As long as the denominator was a non-zero number and the numerator is 0, value of the fraction is 0. Done with this question. Looked complicated, but such a sitter to solve, provided you did not panic while calculating. Okay. A man sold 3/5 of his articles at a gain of 20%, remaining at a cost price. What was the gain earned in the transaction? I love assuming values for questions like this, right? Let's see how assumption is actually going to make life easy. He sold 3/5 of his articles. So let me assume that he has got a total of 5 articles which he purchased at the rate of, let us say, 100 rupees per article, right? So the total cost price was 500, 5 into 100. Now, he sold 3/5 of the articles at a gain of 20%. So over a 100 rupee cost price, a 20% gain is 120. So the sale price for 3 was 3 times 120. That means 2 articles are left selling at cost price of 100. So 3 into 120, 360 plus 2 into 100, 200 gives me a total sale price of 560, which means my profit was SP minus CP, 560 minus 560. So my profit percentage is profit upon CP into 100, which is 60 upon 500 into 100. Zeros cancel out each other, 5 12s are 60. My final answer is definitely 12%. So I'm not going to muddle about with all my fractions and stuff. What I'm going to do, simple, assume 5 items, because 3/5 of 5 items is 3 items. Assume cost price of 1 item is 100. So I can work with beautifully rounded off numbers and get my answer. And that's it. That's the hack which I apply to most of questions of this type, right? Definitely easy to solve. Now, let's move ahead with the next one. Longish. Okay. In a class X of 30 students, 24 passed in first division. In class Y of 35 students, 28 passed in first division. I have to compare the two statements. First, X has more percentage of students with first division. 2, both have equal percentage of students getting first division. It seems, I mean, it's pain to read such a long question. Technically, it's such an easy question. Why? Because in class X, out of a total of 30, 24 students passed in the first division. So 24 out of 30 is 80%. In class Y, out of 35 students, 28 passed in first division, and 20% of 35 is 3.5 into 2, 7, 35 minus 7, 20. This is also equal to 80%, which means technically both the divisions had exactly the same percentage of students passing in the first division. So, X has more percent? Nope. Both classes have equal percentage of students getting first division? Yep. So only the second statement is true. So first is false, second statement is true. We mark D as the answer in this question and we move ahead. That's it. Easy question to solve, right? So it looked long, lengthy, complicated, but it was actually a very, very easy question of percentages. Definitely crackable under what? 15-20 seconds? That's it. Okay. Again, statement based questions. It says, given that A is to B is 5,3 and B is to C is 2,5, then C minus A will be equal to what? Lovely question of ratios. Let's assume values. So A is to B is given as 5 is to 3 and B is to C is given as 2 is to 5. So first I'm going to normalize the values, make all of them comparable. So 3 2s are 6, 5 2s are 10, 2 3s are 6, 5 3s are 15. So my ratio of all three together is 10 is to 6 is to 15. I need to find the value of C minus A. So C minus A is 15 minus 10. So with these values, I get C minus A is 5. Now, what is 10 times A plus C? In this case, A plus C, 10 plus 15, 25 times this is 250, and the value of 10 times A plus 25 times B is 100 plus 25, 6 are 150, again 250, right? But in neither case is it equal to 5. So technically my answer in this question, both the statements are false. I just need to be careful about marking the answer option, because usually in such questions you get only one, only two, both, neither. But here A is both are true and B is both are false. So unless you mark the option wrongly, this question can easily be done in a jiffy. Great. Now let's take a look at the next question, HCF and LCMs. It says the HCF and LCM of two numbers x and y are respectively 6 and 210. Okay. So the HCF of the two numbers is given as 6. The LCM of the two numbers is given as 210. And x plus y is equal to 72. The two numbers x plus y add up to 72. I need the value of 1 upon x plus 1 upon y. Okay. So 1 upon x plus 1 upon y can be written as x plus y upon xy. X plus y is 72, but how do I get the value of the product of the two numbers? And a very easy, simple property. The product of any two numbers, any two integers, is the product of their HCF and LCM. So x into y is HCF of xy into LCM of xy. So HCF 6, LCM 210. That's it. Simplify it. So 6 12s are, 3 4s are, 3 70s are, 2s are, 35s are. That's it. 2 by 35. Mark option D as the answer and move ahead. The easy property of the product of two numbers is the product of their HCF and LCM will give you the answer to this question. Such an easy one. Great. So a lot of conceptual clarity is required. If you remember such basic things which you have definitely learnt at school level, then so many questions are easily crackable under half a minute. Okay. Now, it says an equilateral triangle ABC is inscribed in a circle of radius 20 root 3. Oh, remember we had another question with the same stats. Great. What is the length of the side of this triangle? Okay. Not very complicated. It says that an equilateral triangle is inscribed in a circle. So, I have my equilateral triangle inscribed in a circle. Let's call this A, B and C. And it says that the radius of the circle is 20 root 3. Okay. So the radius of the circle is 20 root 3. What I need to do is I need to identify the length of the side of the triangle. Okay. So AB or BC or AC, any one of them I need to identify. Right. How do I go ahead? I'm sure there could be many ways, and there is a relationship between the length of the altitude and the sides, but I don't remember it. So I'll crack it. The property which I remember is in an equilateral triangle, if 20 root 3, and remember this also is a centroid. So if 20 root 3 is this part, the other part is 10 root 3, right? The centroid divides the median in the ratio of 2:1 from the vertex. So once I know that this entire length is nothing but 30 root 3, I also know that this, let's call it D, ABD is a right angle triangle. So this will be X and AB will be 2X, because D is the midpoint of BC and ABC is an equilateral triangle. So now I can use my knowledge of Pythagorean theorem, which says 30 root 3 the whole square plus x square is 2x the whole square. BD square plus AD square is AB square. So this is 900 into 3 is equal to 4x square minus x square is 3x square. 3's get cancelled. X should be equal to 30. Right? So 30, no. The question is, what is the length of the side? The biggest mistake you could make is just assuming x is the final answer. But the length of the side is 2x. That's the point where most of us will make the mistake. The length of the side is 2x. So 2 times 30, 60 centimeters is the answer that you are looking for. Believe me, many students will get this particular thing wrong. Why? Because in their haste, they forget that although they have found the value of x, the final number that they are looking for is the value of 2 times x. Don't make that mistake and you definitely have this question in the bag. Okay, next one. The average of 5 consecutive numbers is a. If the next two numbers are also included, how will the average vary? I love this question, right? It's a very conceptual question, but let's see how we can logically analyze and solve it. So it says the average of 5 consecutive numbers is a. So my numbers obviously can be taken as a minus 2, a minus 1, a plus 1 and a plus 2, right? So the average of these numbers is a. So obviously my numbers are a minus 2, a minus 1, a plus 1 and a plus 2. Now, if the next two numbers are also included, right? So the next two numbers will be a plus 3 and a plus 4, total of 7 numbers. Now I need to identify what will be the average. So let's see, the 2's take care of each other, the 1's take care of each other. So I get 7 times a plus 3 plus 4. The total is 7a plus 7. The average is divided by 7. So my new average is a plus 1. My original average was a. I added 2 more numbers and because they are consecutive, my average simply shifts by 1 place to the right. So how will the average vary? It is going to increase by 1. And if you did not want to mess around with ABCD, you simply could have assumed numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Average is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What is the sum of those numbers? Divided by 7 and you will get the new average. Compare it with the original average and you have your answer. But this way you can be sure that the assumption is not a one-off case, it is the general rule. Okay. Nice. My nemesis, time, speed and distance. Let's see. It says Ram and Shyam run a race between points A and B, which are 5 kilometers apart. Okay. So let's start making the diagram as well. It says Ram and Shyam run a race A and B 5 kilometers apart. So this is point A, this is point B. The distance between A and B is 5 kilometers. Ram starts at 9 a.m. from A at a speed of 5 kilometers per hour. So Ram starts here, his speed is 5 kilometers per hour. Reaches B and returns to A at the same speed. Right. So if he is starting, let us say at 9 a.m., he's traveling at the speed of 5 kilometers per hour and the distance is 5. That means he reaches here at 10 a.m., then again rushes back and reaches back at 11 a.m. Great. Now, Shyam starts at 9:45 a.m. from A at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. So now Shyam starts at 9:45 a.m. but his speed is 10 kilometers per hour. That means technically when has he reached here? He has reached here at 10:45. Okay. So he starts from A at a speed of 10, reaches B, comes back. At what time do Ram and Shyam meet each other? Okay. So let's not get into complications of formulae. Let's see if we can logically crack this particular question. Okay. So if at 9:45 a.m. he's starting, at 9:45 a.m. Ram would have covered 3/4 of the distance, right? So 3/4 of 5 he would have covered 3.75, but that number is irrelevant. Shyam starts at 9:45 a.m., right? Ram at 10 a.m. is at this point. So where would Shyam be at 10 a.m.? 15 minutes. So he would have traveled 2.5 kilometers because his speed is 10 kilometers per hour. So in one fourth of the time, one fourth of the distance. So at 10 a.m., he is exactly here and the other person is exactly here. Now the distance between them is 2.5 kilometers. Okay. And one person is running at 10 kilometers per hour, the other person is running at 5 kilometers per hour, combined speed 15 kilometers per hour. So together, if they take 60 minutes for 15 kilometers to cover 2.5, which is 1/6 of 15, they will take 1/6 of the time. So 1/6 of an hour is 10 minutes. So technically, they should be meeting at 10 minutes past 10. So my answer should be 10:10, right? So even without actually working out the problem using the formula of speed is distance upon time, a little bit of logical thinking, a little bit of rational thinking will definitely give you the answer that option B, 10:10 a.m. should be the time at which the two of them meet. Okay. Now let's take a look at the next question. Ooh, same data. Ram and Shyam, they run a race between the 2 points. Okay, all that is perfectly fine. Ram starts at 9, blah, 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 blah. At what time does Shyam overtake Ram? Okay, so let's see if you are able to work out this question without using the formula, using just the logic, right? At 10, the distance between them left is 2.5. So for overtaking, one to be overtaking the other, Ram is running here and Shyam has to overtake. So Ram has already started the reverse journey. Shyam has to reach, turn back and start running to overtake Shyam in this. So definitely it is going to be sometime after 10:10 because at 10:10 they are still to cross. So Shyam reaches, turns and because he is faster he will overtake. How much time will he take? Let's see if you are able to work this out without using the formula, using just the basic logic and ratio of numbers, right? If you are watching this in a non-live situation, you can pause the video right here. Otherwise, let me give you the answer. I think the answer to this question is they should be meeting at 10. I mean, one should be overtaking the other at 10:30 a.m. Option B should be the answer. Do write in the comments if you are able to work this out. Okay. Carrying on. Now this is a fantastic problem. Took me definitely some time to understand it and work it out. It says A is 40% less efficient than B, who can do the same work in 20% less time than C. And if A and B together can complete 80% of the work in 12 days, then in how many days 60% of the work can be completed by B and C together? The best question of time and work that I have seen in a very, very long period of time, because it combines your understanding of fractions, your understanding of percentages, and it's not straightforward at all. So how can we solve this? Okay, it says A is 40% less efficient than B, who can do something. So I'm not going to move ahead to C. I'm going to assume that B can do 10 units of work per day. I can take 100, either way it's fine, right? 10 or 100 because I need to work with B as my base. So if per day B is able to complete 10 units of the work and A is 40% less efficient than B, so A will be completing 6 units of the work per day, right? My first part is definitely done. Now, if B can do the work in 20% less time than C, right? So if B can do the work in 20% less time than C, then if C takes 10 days to complete the work, then B takes 8 days to complete the work. So if C's capacity is 1/10, then B's capacity is 1/8 of the work per day. So 1/8 of the work per day is 10 units of work per day. So what is C's units per day? See if you can work this out, right? And once you know that, then you have worked out what is the number of days that A requires, B requires, and C requires. Now, A and B can complete 80% of the work in 12 days, 4/5 of the work in 12 days. So, A and B together will take a total of 15 days, right? 80 is 12, so 100 is 15. Once you work that out, how many days? 60% of the work can be completed by B and C together. So because you know the individual ratios of B and C and you can find out per day capacity, you can actually find out 100% of the work in how many days and then calculate 60% of that. Do write in the comments if you are able to solve this and get the right answer. If not, then I'll put up a video where I actually take you through all the steps, right? But let's see if you are able to get the right answer. I'll just tell you what the answer is. The answer in this case is 60% of the work can be completed by B and C together. The answer is C, 8 days. But are you able to get 8 as the right answer? Because this is a sum which takes some time to solve. It's not that obvious, not that straightforward, and definitely one of the best questions that I saw so far. Great. Okay. Leaving you to work it out, and definitely do work it out. 19th. If the roots of the equation x square minus px plus 54 are in the ratio of 2:3, then the value of p is equal to what? Okay. Now, let's assume that alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, right? So, for an equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, if alpha and beta are the roots of the equation, then alpha plus beta is minus b by a and alpha into beta is equal to c by a. Sum of the roots is minus b by a, product of the roots is c by a. This can be used to our great benefit. So alpha and beta are basically 2x and 3x, or let's not confuse x, let's take 2y and 3y, right? So the two roots alpha and beta are 2y and 3y. So the sum of the roots 2y plus 3y is minus b by a, so minus of minus p by 1, and the product of the roots, so 2y into 3y is equal to c by a in this equation 54 by 1. That's it. So once you know 5y is p and 6y square is 54, you should be able to find out the value of y, and once you get that, you definitely will be able to get the value of p in this particular question, right? So because I know 6y square is 54, so y square is 54 by 6, that is 9, so y is equal to 3. So 5 into 3, 15, p is equal to 15. So I get my answer of D as 15. Easy. I hope you understood this. If not, pause, just work it out. But the funda to be used is sum of the roots and product of the roots. Okay. Now, the points 2, 2, 6, 3 and 4, 11 are the vertices of what? Coordinate geometry. And I think this question only requires you to know the distance formula, right? For example, what is the distance formula? If I have my coordinates x1 and y1 and x2 and y2, then root of x2 minus x1 the whole square plus y2 minus y1 the whole square gives you the distance between the 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2. So all you have to do is find the distance between these 2 points, these 2 points and these 2 points. And once you get the 3 numbers, it becomes very obvious what the answer is. In fact, I'm not even going to mark the answer. I want you to work out the value of the 3 numbers and you will understand why it's a very, very obvious answer in this particular case. Moving ahead. The sides of four triangles are given. Which of them form a right triangle? A right angle triangle will have the three sides forming a Pythagorean triplet. Some of my obvious Pythagorean triplets are 3, 4, 5 and multiples, 5, 12, 13 and their multiples. So are any of these sides in the ratio of 3, 4, 5? Yep, 6, 8 and 10 are in the ratio of 3, 4, 5. So obviously the triangle with 6, 8 and 10 is going to be a right angle triangle. Not even going to do anything. Marking the answer and moving ahead is all that I need for this particular question. Such an easy one. Okay. If each side of a cube is decreased by 19%, then the decrease in the surface area is what? The cube is just given for confusion. The cube has no relevance to this question. The length of the side, let's assume original length was 100 and the new length decreased by 19%. So 100 minus 19, 81. So it is given that 19% was the decrease in the side. Surface area is L square. So the original L square, 100 into 100 is 10,000. The new is 81 square. 81 square into, that is 81 into 81 is 6,561. So what is the decrease? Well, 10 minus 1, 9, 9 minus 6, 3, 9 minus 5, 4, 9 minus 6, 3. So 34.39% is the decrease. And somehow I remember the value of 81 square, one of my favorite numbers. So that's it. All you had to do was calculate how much is 81 square less than 100 square. Easy peasy question. Chalo then. Moving on to the next one. A person travels 3 equal distances at a speed of A, B and C. What is the average speed for the whole journey? Now, here is a doozy, because if you do not know average speed calculation for more than 2, then this question is not going to be easy. Remember, average speed is not the simple average. So it is not A plus B plus C divided by 3. Rather, what we need to do is find the harmonic mean. And what is the harmonic mean? Well, for 3 numbers, the harmonic mean is given by 3 upon 1 upon A plus 1 upon B plus 1 upon C. You need to simplify this. If it were 2 numbers, the harmonic mean would have been 2 upon 1 by X plus 1 by Y. If it were 4 numbers, 4 upon 1 by P plus 1 by Q plus 1 by R plus 1 by S, right? So you have to remember this, that average value of speed, average speed of multiple speeds is the harmonic mean, provided it is given that all of them travel equal distances in each case. If the distances were not the same, this formula is not applicable. But if the distance traveled is the same, then finding the harmonic mean will give you the answer. And in this case, if I want to simplify this, let's simplify it, not a great thing at all. So this should be 3 upon BC plus AC plus AB upon ABC. So this is equal to 3 times ABC upon something, and only one option, so I'm not even going to write it. Has to be option D, 3ABC upon AB plus BC plus CA. So the funda here is important to remember, that if you want to find average speed when the distances are the same, find out the harmonic mean. Okay. Sin theta plus cos theta root 7 by 2, sin theta minus cos theta is equal to what? Trigonometry, not at all difficult. It is given that sin theta plus cos theta is root of 7 by 2. So what I'm going to do is, first I'm going to square both these sides, because sin square plus cos square I know. So sin theta plus cos theta whole square will be sin square theta plus cos square theta plus 2 sin theta into cos theta, and the right hand side will be 7 by 4. Now sin square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So 2 sine theta into cos theta is 7 upon 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3 upon 4. How is this going to help me find the value of sine minus cos? Easy. Sine theta minus cos theta, the whole square, is sine square theta plus cos square theta minus 2 sine theta cos theta, and sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. 2 sine theta cos theta is 3 by 4. So 1 minus 3 by 4 is 1 by 4. So if sine theta minus cos theta the whole square is 1 by 4, then sine theta minus cos theta is the root of that, which is equal to 1 by 2. Mark option B, 1 by 2 as your answer. Move ahead, work is done. Trigonometry, but remember, sine square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1 is your savior in most of the cases. That and basic identities. Alright, let's take a look at the 25th one. By selling 2 articles at 800, a person gains the cost price of 3 articles. What is the profit percentage in this case? Well, we have to work it out step by step. So, it says by selling 2 articles for rupees 800. So, the selling price of one article is equal to 400 rupees. That much is pretty obvious. A person gains the cost price of 3 articles, right? So, for 2 articles, if the gain is 3, then for 1 article, the gain is 1.5 times. So, if the cost price of 1 article is X, then the profit of 1 article is equal to 1.5 times the cost price. So, the cost price of 1 plus the profit of 1 is the sale price of 1. So, 2.5 times X is equal to 400. So, I can find out the value of X. But actually that is not what is required, right? What is required is what is the profit percentage. So, actually this thing, all these things, not required at all. If my cost price is X and my profit is 1.5X, then profit percentage is obviously 150%. So 150%, option D should be marked as the answer and move ahead. I don't need the rupee value because percentage I can directly compare here, right? So it just makes you waste some time in solving the question, but believe me, easy question if you are clear with your fundamentals. Okay, few more questions to solve, not tough. Given below are 2 statements, trigonometric statements. I have to choose whether they are true or not. Okay, let's do that. Remembering the value of trigonometric ratios is important. So the first one is cot 30 plus 1 upon cot 30 minus 1. Now what is the value of cot 30? Well, it is equal to root 3, right? So this technically is nothing but root 3 plus 1 upon root 3 minus 1. Is it equal to the right hand side? 2 times cos 30 plus 1. So cos 30, 0, 1 upon 2, 1 upon root 3 upon 2 plus 1. So this is equal to root 3 plus 2. But are they the same? Let's solve this further. I can write it as root 3 plus 1 upon root 3 minus 1 and multiply and divide by the denominator. So this becomes root 3 plus 1 into root 3 minus, let's do it by plus. So this becomes root 3 plus 1 the whole square upon a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square, 3 minus 1 is 2. Opening this up, a plus b the whole square is a square plus 2 into a into b plus b square upon 2. So that is equal to 4 plus 2 root 3 upon 2. So that is equal to root 3 plus 2. Yep. The first one is true. LHS is equal to RHS. So first statement is true. Similarly, I need to work out whether the second one is true or not. Again, let's simplify the second one. So this is 2 times sine 45 into cos 45 minus tan of 45 into cot of 45. So sine 45 and cos 45, 0, 1 upon 2, 1 upon root 2. And both of them are 1 upon root 2 minus tan 40, 0, 1 upon root 3, 1. cot 45 is 1. So this is 1 minus 1, 0, which is definitely the right hand side. So technically both the statements are true. So I just need to mark option A for the 26th question and move ahead. Easy peasy Japan easy to solve. Right? Okay. Now let's take a look at the next one. What is the next question? If the highest common factor of x square minus px minus q and 5x square minus 3px minus 15q is x minus 3, what is the value of p and q? Looks complicated, absolutely easy question to solve. If something is a factor, then if x minus 3 is a factor, it means the value of x minus 3 is 0. So that means x is 3. So all I need to do is substitute the value of x and equate it to 0. So first one is 3 square minus 3p minus q is equal to 0. So 9 minus 3p minus q is equal to 0. In the second one, 3 square is 9, 9 5s are 45 minus 9 into p minus 15 into q is equal to 0. So I have got a set of two equations, two linear equations with two variables. If I can solve both of these equations, I will get my answer of p and q. And the value of p and q, if you solve it correctly, should be 5 by 2 and 3 by 2. So the thing that you have to remember to solve this particular question is simply this, that if something is a factor of an expression, a quadratic expression, then that is equal to 0. So if x minus 3 is a factor, then x minus 3 is 0. That means the value of x is equal to 3. That's all was needed. That was all that was needed to solve it. Getting late, getting sleepy. A few more questions. Okay. Factors of blah blah blah. I have to select. Not going to waste too much of time in factorization. Remember the funda from the last one. If something is a factor, then that value is 0. I can substitute the value of the number. So I'm just going to pick x is equal to 1. If x is equal to 1, then 1 cube minus 6 into 1 square plus 11 minus 6 is 0. So x minus 1 is definitely a factor. First option eliminated. Let's assume x is equal to 2. So 8 minus 4 and 6, 24 plus 22 minus 6. This is 30 and 30, 0. X minus 2 is also a factor. If I assume x is equal to 3, so this is 27 minus 54 plus 33 minus 6. 27 plus 33, 60, 54, 6, 60, 0. So x minus 3 is also a factor. So x minus 1, x minus 2, x minus 3 is the factorization of this number. Thank God for not having none of these as the answer, right? If that were the case, would have been tough. Could have factorized it, but luckily I can simply assume the values of x from the given options and solve this question. Right. Let's move ahead with the 29th one. It says 15 people from different places come together for a family reunion. Okay. Now, each one of them had 2 gifts for every other person. So each of the 15 people had 2 gifts for every other person. So each person had actually 14 gifts and 14 people and 2 for each. So this is 15 times 14 times 2, right? So each of the persons had 28 gifts individually. So 15 into 14 into 2, that is equal to 420 gifts. And when the gifts were exchanged, they hugged each other. Okay, so I know the number of gifts. Let's calculate the number of hugs. A person will not hug himself, right? And if A hugs B, B also hugs A. So each of the 15 people will hug 14 others, and for reciprocal, I divide by 2. So 15 into 14 by 2, 2 and 7. So 15 sevens are 70 plus 35, 105. Now all I need to do is find the difference between the numbers. So 420 minus 105 is equal to 315. So option A, 315 is the answer that I'm looking for. Easy question, right? But the first part, 15 people each had 2 gifts for everybody. So 15, 14, 2, 420. And the number of handshakes or hugs is always n into n minus 1 by 2. N minus 1 because you don't hug yourself. Divide by 2 because AB is the same as BA. And that is your answer to this particular thing. Done with the 29th one. Okay. A speaks truth in 75% of the cases and B in 80. What percentage of cases likely to contradict? Actually, this is a question of probability, right? So the probability of A speaking the truth is 3 by 4. That means probability of A speaking a lie is 1 by 4. Probability of B speaking the truth is 80% of the cases. So that is equal to 4 by 5. So probability of B lying is 1 by 5. To contradict, one of them has to speak the truth, one of them has to speak a lie. So either A is truthful and B is lying, or A is lying and B is truthful. If A is truthful, probability 3 by 4 and B lying, probability 1 by 5. A lying probability is 1 by 4 and B truthful probability is 4 upon 5. Let's simplify this. So this becomes 3 upon 20 plus, I'm not going to cancel it out to keep the denominator same. This is 4 upon 20. So the sum is 7 upon 20, right? So 7 upon 20 but as a percentage. So I need to multiply and divide by 5 to get 100 and 35. So in 35% of the cases, the two of them will be contradicting each other. So a simple question of probability actually, right? If my probability of speaking the truth is 75%, then lying is 25%, 80% truth, 20% lies, so on and so forth. I hope everybody understood this funda. Actually a very easy question to solve, provided you just understand what is happening in this one. Let's rush. Okay, my next one. If alpha and beta are the roots of the equation ax square plus bx plus c is 0, then the value of 1 upon a blah 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 is what? I thought I can get clever and use my knowledge of discriminant of the function and all that. But then why complicate life with formulae? Let's see if I can do it in an easier manner. Assumptions. Alpha and beta are the roots of the equation ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? So let's take an equation where my alpha, let us say, is 2 and beta is 3. So that means x minus 2 and x minus 3 creates the equation. So x square minus 2x minus 3x minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. So comparing it with ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, a becomes 1, b becomes minus 5 and c becomes 3. So I have got values of all of these things. Now I need to simplify 1 upon a alpha plus b plus 1 upon a beta plus b. What if I substitute the values and check? So 1 upon a into alpha is 2 plus b is minus 5 plus 1 upon a into beta is 3 plus b again is minus 5. So 1 upon 2 plus minus 5 is 1 upon minus 3 minus 1 upon 3 and this is equal to minus 1 upon 2. So if I take out the minus, 1 upon 3 plus 1 upon 2 is 5 upon 6. And now all I can do is compare, right? I already have 5 as b. So b can be my numerator. A into c. Is it 5 into 6? Nope. Can it be a upon b? I just need to compare the values and see which of them is correct. So a upon bc is 1 upon minus 15. Nope. B upon AC is minus 5 upon 3. Nope. C upon AB is 3 upon minus 5. Nope. 1 upon ABC is 1 upon 1 into minus 5 into 3 is 1 upon minus 15. So technically this does not help me solve. Did I do it somewhere wrong? B upon AC. Or is the, am I getting the wrong values somewhere? 1 upon a into alpha plus b is 1 upon a into alpha is 2 plus b is minus 5. So 1 upon minus 3 minus 1 upon 3. A into beta is 3 plus b again minus 5, so minus 1 upon 2. So this is minus 5 upon 6. Did I write down the question wrong? B upon AC. Is it AC or alpha into C? If it is alpha into C, then I'll get. I think my options are wrong because this definitely is a way of solving it. So I just need to clarify. I need to check with the original question paper whether I've written the options wrong. But this definitely is one way in which you can solve this question, right? Do post in the comments if I've written something wrong or I've missed a step somewhere. I'll also try to cross check this question and get back to you in the comments. Okay. Moving ahead, let's see the next one. Circle, square, equilateral, triangle, regular, pentagon have the same areas. Arrange them in ascending order based on their perimeters. Okay. So, one funda which I always remember is that why is the earth a sphere? Because you can maximize the volume with a minimal area. Similarly, you can maximize surface area with minimal perimeter the more curved it is, right? So a circle has the maximum amount of curves. After that, a pentagon has more twists, then a square, and then a triangle, right? This has maximum number of curve points, 5 curves, 4 curves and 3. So the order has to be this. When they all have the same areas, then the perimeters can be either this or this. So in ascending order, if I have to arrange them, then all I am looking for is A, D, B, C. Circle followed by a regular pentagon, followed by a square, followed by a rectangle, a triangle, equilateral triangle. Don't try to calculate anything. Always remember, if I am maximizing the area with minimal perimeter, more curved a figure. Similarly, maximizing the volume with minimal surface area, more spherical, right? More the curves, lesser the enclosing area, more the content inside. That funda will help you easily crack this question. And finally, the last one, I hope. Ooh, long. Okay, I don't think I'm going to waste too much time on this. What I'm going to do is show you how to proceed. Two statements, assertion, reason. Okay. It says the sum of n terms of the progression 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 2 square plus 1 by 2 cube is 2 raised to n minus 1 minus 1 upon blah, 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 blah. Okay. And the second one, sum of a geometric series having n terms is given by S of n is a into 1 minus r by n upon 1 minus r, where a is the first term, r is common ratio. If you remember your principles of geometric progressions, you definitely know that the sum of a geometric series is given by this formula. So I know for sure that my reason given in this question is true. R is definitely true. And if R is definitely true, then either A or B or D can be my answer, right? But I do not know whether A is true or not. So let's check that out. So the progression given is 1 plus 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 2 square and so on. And I can easily see that I'm multiplying each number by 1 by 2 to get the next one. So the first term is A and the ratio which is common to each term is 1 by 2, which makes it a geometric progression, right? And if I know the this is a geometric progression, and I know that the sum of the n terms of a geometric progression is this, all I need to do is plug in the values and see whether it works out to this, right? I'm not even going to solve it. I'm going to leave it up to you. Because I have given you that the formula for sum of a geometric progression is correct. And I have showed that the assertion is about the sum of a geometric progression. Please plug in the values and check, and you will definitely get the answer to this question. Calculate it and then confirm the assertion is false. only the reason is true, but the assertion itself is false. That means you have to mark D as the answer. Right? Okay. What next? Are we left with any problems or are we done? Yay! So that brings us to the end of 33 questions. How much time did I take? Take the time. Oh, almost 1.5 hours. But guys, believe me, because I was talking and explaining things for 33 questions, it took this much time. Obviously, in the examination, you are going to do them way faster. You are going to leave questions if not, if you don't get it in a few seconds. So a lot of these were sitter questions, like the IPMAT, like the NPAT. They keep testing your fundamentals. So as I keep saying, please work on your basics of chapters like calculations, averages, percentages, ratios. Know the basic formula and funda of things like time, speed and distance, time and work, simple and compound interest, linear equations, quadratic equations, some basics of geometry and mensuration, probability and permutation combination. I know that seems a lot, but all these concepts have been taught in standards 8th, 9th, 10th. And if you're comfortable with all these concepts, exams like the JIPMAT are very easy to crack. You need not even have got all 33 questions. I will have to work, see what the cutoffs were, but I believe it would not have been very high, right? So please, if you have liked this, then hit the like button, share and subscribe. And in the comments, you can definitely tell me what other papers you would like to see me solve in the future. And I have got a couple of requests for specific tests. But in case they are the actual past year papers are not available, you will have to provide me with the actual PDF of the paper or just a link from where I can get it. So in case you want me to solve a particular paper, you can send across a link in the comments or the PDF, and I'll try to come up with a next live session or at least record a video and give you solutions for the same. Till then, wish you all the very best and have a great day.